nonsense, we often think about the folklore and myths around where that name originated from. As early as 1795, it was known as Fort Nonsense. It's steeped in folklore and myth. As early as 1848, author and traveler Benson Lossing wrote in his pictorial field book of the Revolution the following. Its name was derived from the fact that all the labor bestowed upon it was intended merely to counteract the demoralizing effect of idleness. Washington foresaw the evil tendency of idleness and discreetly ordered the construction of a fort upon a hill overlooking the town. There was no intention to complete it, and when the winter encampment broke up in the spring, the work was, of course, abandoned. The lore of the origin of the name Fort Nonsense continued into the next decade when in 1859 in Harper's Weekly, Dr. Tuttle noted, Washington, finding his troops needed exercise, both for purpose of healthy and military subordination, set them to work at this fortification, as if it were a matter of the utmost importance in defending the stores, the people, and the army itself. Having answered its design, tradition says that Washington asked one of his friends what the useless fort should be named. The reply was, let it be called Fort Nonsense. There is some truth to his response. It was a matter of utmost importance to be placed here, overlooking the town. Notice the town green. It's an intersection of four main roads. These are Colonial Roads. They lead to West Point, New York, Philadelphia. They're a communications link. And given that they all come here to the cockpit of the Revolution in New Jersey and in Morris County, this fortification was also important to protect the warehouse and the storehouses in Morristown, even when the majority of the army was not here. Truth lies in the facts. Headquarters, Morristown, May 14th, 1777. He, the Quartermaster General, is also to have a guardhouse in the upper redoubt on the hill adjoining this place, erected with dispatch and sufficient to contain 30 men. This building to be slight and attended with little expense. Instructions to Lieutenant Colonel Jeremiah only. Morristown, 28th May, 1777. Sir, your detachment is to remain at Morristown till further orders, with which, and the militia now here, you are to guard the stores of different kinds in the most effectual manner you are able. Endeavor, as far as it is in your power, to strengthen the works already begun upon the hill near this place, and erect such others as are necessary for the better defending of it, that it may become a safe retreat in case of necessity. The guardhouse in the upper redoubt should be immediately finished, and if you are not able to mount a guard in it at present, you should, nevertheless, make it the quarters of a trusty sergeant and select a party of men. Otherwise, if the enemy or their Tory assistants should have any design upon the town or the public stores in it, their first attempt will be to seize the height and turn our own works against us. Given at Morristown, this 28th May, 1777, G. Washington. The story doesn't end there. This hill is important, given that it's the tallest point in Morristown and in the area. Just look behind me. On a beautiful, clear, crisp day, you can see the Freedom Tower, Midtown buildings, and those pencils, I refer to them as pencils, just north of Midtown. We're 35 miles, a 2 days march for an 18th century army. You can see that far. Also more important is that this also became, in the mid to late war, a place to erect beacons or signal alarms. April 17th, 1779, Brigadier General Nathaniel Hurd of the New Jersey Militia, Rocky Hill to Asher Holmes. These fires, first 8 beacons erected, should be made of logs intermixed with brush, square at bottom, about 16 feet, and to diminish as they rise like pyramids, and should be 18 or 20 feet high. It is also proposed that preparations should be made to make the like signals in the other following places in the state. The 12th beacon at the point of Kenny's Hill at Morristown. I think we're at the point. April 27th, went to Morristown, agreed with Captain Arnold to make, excuse their spelling, he says bacon. Mr. Winslow and I, we think that is probably more appropriate, but he meant beacon on Kinney's Hill. We're on Kinney's Hill. That's from Diary of Savannah Seeley. As the war faded away, as does memory, so did the fort, left to return to its near native state that it once was. But that does not end our story. A different kind of army ascended this hill in the 1930s. Was it to defend, or to protect, or maybe to protect, but to ascertain the whereabouts of that legendary Fort Nonsense? This army was made up of citizens between the ages of 18 and 25. They served 18 months at a time. The army I speak of is the Civilian Conservation Corps. They were tasked with the duty of helping build the nation's first national historical park. Think about that. What did they do here in other parts of the park? They did archaeology. They brought archaeology into the mainstream. Using their tools were not muskets and cannons, but trowels and shovels. Their fortifications were trenches. Their tools included screens to sift through the soil, to find the evidence of what was once here. They happened upon and began speaking to others who were experts on 18th century fortifications and hit upon what they believed was the redoubt. Soon after the archaeology was done, the earth returned back to its state, the park planned and constructed a reproduction of that earthworks, at least the interpretation, which stood until 1966. From that point on, not until 1990, that the Belgian blocks were put here to remind us of what was once here on this hill and why it served such an important part of the American Revolution for Morris County. I thank you for your afternoon, and for those of you who trekked up the hill, you now have an inkling of what it meant to be a Continental soldier on this hill.